Okay, we're doing another one of these. Since I've seen some people talk online about how to prepare for conventional invasion of the United States, let's go over the reality of, and likelihood of that actually happening. And first off, it's not really likely, so you don't need to be wearing the helmet. Put that down. The two big kind of threats that you'd see in this case are China and Russia, which get described as being near peer, though neither of them really is. let's talk about China first. Something we need to keep in mind about Chinese history is China had a civil war slash rebellion in 1949, shortly after World War II. The result of that is the rebel group ended up taking power in China. And that rebel group formed the People's Republic of China and displaced the previous government, which was the Republic of China, and almost completely took over the country. The Republic of China controlled one island and still does to this day. The People's Republic of China, which is what most of us refer to as mainland China, has been trying to retake the Republic of China, which most of us refer to as Taiwan, since 1949, 75 years. Now, to put this in scale, yes, I'm checking my notes here. Taiwan has a population of 23 million people. Now, I'm not even going to compare these things to the US. I'm going to compare them to Texas. So you're talking about an island that has a population of about 80% the size of Texas. Taiwan has an area of roughly 14,000 square miles of land. Compare that to Texas. Texas has a space of 281,000 square miles. So Taiwan's about 5% the size of Texas. And Taiwan is 95 miles, roughly, from the coast of China. By comparison, Texas is about 7,000 miles from the coast of China. A little over 7,000 to Texas. They can hit California, it's only 6,000 miles. What we've got to keep in mind, China has been wanting to take Taiwan for 75 years, and they haven't been able to pull it off. Their military has not been strong enough to take an island that's less than 100 miles off their shore that is significantly smaller than Texas. So the odds of China being able to successfully invade the United States and stage an amphibious landing across the Pacific, going across essentially 6,000 miles from their shore and successfully landing in a much larger country, it's not happening. So China militarily, for a conventional military war, is not a serious threat. Now let's take a look at Russia. I'm sure most of you have seen the news over the last 2 years, or depending on which you want to count the history, the last 10 years. And there's been some stuff going on in Ukraine. Once again, depending on whose version of history you want to go with, the official special military operation, kind of conventional war between Russia and Ukraine, started in 2022. There's been Russian soldiers on the ground and pro-Russian separatists shooting at pro-Ukrainian people in eastern Ukraine since 2014. So that's been going for about 10 years in reality. And Ukraine ultimately will almost certainly lose. But it has taken Russia in a conventional war so far 2 years, and they haven't even finished. They haven't succeeded, so it may take quite a bit longer. Now, Ukraine has a population of 38 million, which makes it roughly 25% bigger than Texas in terms of population. It's got an area of 233,000 square miles, which makes it roughly 90% the size of Texas. And this is a country that Russia shares a border with. The logistic differences between I need to move my ammunition and fuel and supplies to another country I share a border with versus I need to move my ammunition and all of my fuel, supplies, etc. to a country on the other side of an ocean is just vastly different. And Russia, for the last 2 to 10 years, depending on whose version you want to do, has not been able to take Ukraine. So the odds of Russia attacking the US with conventional military forces are pretty much zero. So if you're worried about a conventional war with Russia or China and how that will affect things in the US, it probably won't. If you look at other, if we just want to look at nuclear powers, US, UK, France, Israel are all pretty tight allies with the US. Israel not quite as much, but none of those are militarily going to be a threat to the US. Yeah, I know we got into it a few times with the Brits, but the last time that happened was in the 1800s. That's what, 212 years ago? Not really a concern. Yeah, Pakistan and India both have nukes. If either one of them attacks the US, they're at each other's throat. The other one's going to attack, and then they're not a military threat to the US. So, really, in terms of conventional warfare, the odds of paratroopers jumping out of the sky and attacking anywhere in the US and being a threat to your homestead, your house, your apartment, whatever, is pretty much zero. So, in conclusion, you don't need a helmet, but John has a long mustache.